Hello, my name is Dr. Adrian Leek. I have a PhD in colour in relation to computer-aided printed textile design. Today I'm going to present a short talk about the problems of colour fidelity, why it is that the colours we see on monitors look different when they're actually printed. I'm going to discuss how different devices, monitors and printers actually create colour, and by understanding that, the designer or artist will have a better understanding of colour fidelity and be better equipped to find solutions. Let's get to the basics. We're told in school that there are three primaries, red, yellow and blue, and when mixed in various proportions they will produce all the colours of the rainbow, and if mixed together you'll create a black. Now if you've done this, you'll know it's a theoretical proposition. In reality it's not actually true. If you mix all the colours together, at best you're going to get a muddy brown. You'll also notice or have found that the range of colours produced from mixing all these primaries together don't actually encompass all the colours you can see. Indeed, if you change primaries, so let's choose a vermilion red, a lemon yellow and a Prussian rather than cobalt blue, you'll see that the range of colours these primaries produce are actually different to the range created with the other primaries. If you place both sets of primaries next to each other, you'll see that no matter what you do to the yellow in the first set, using all the primaries in that set, you'll not be able to create the yellow in the second. And that is the crux of the problem of colour fidelity. Change your primaries and you'll end up with a different range of colours. When it comes to painting, it's not really a problem, as a decent art material shop sells a huge range of colours because you'll need far more than just three to create all the colours that you can actually see. But when it comes to colour fidelity between printers and monitors, it's the heart of the problem, and it gets even more complex. So let's start with looking at printers. Printers create colours using three primaries, and as we know, three primaries will not mix to a black, so a black ink is also added. You'll notice that the primaries used are lighter versions of red, yellow and blue, in this case cyan, magenta and yellow. If the printers used the darker red, yellow and blue, the range of colours that the printer would create would be very, very dark. And as the colours, when mixed, are subtracting light, moving towards black, this is called subtractive mixing. Now, unlike physically mixing primaries, printers create colours by printing patterns of tiny dots of ink next to each other that optically mix to create the range of colours a printer can produce. These patterns are called diver patterns, and different diver patterns will create different colour spaces. The size of the printed dots will also alter the colour space of the printer. Therefore, something printed at 300 dots per inch will look different to something printed at 150 dots per inch. As well as the diver patterns used and size of dots printed, the media printed on will also affect the colour spaces produced. Therefore, if you print on a glossy paper, you'll end up with a much brighter range of colours than if you printed on a matte paper or fabric. And whilst most printers use three primaries plus black, some such as hexachrome printers have five primaries as well as black. All these printers are trying to create a colour space or gamut to match the range of colours that can be displayed on a monitor. So let's talk about monitors. Whilst printers have primaries of cyan, magenta and yellow, monitors have a different set of primaries. Their primaries are red, green and blue. As with printers, the primaries are displayed as patterns of tiny dots, or in most cases rectangles of light, that optically mix to create the monitor's gamut. The range of colours are created by altering the brightness of each primary. To achieve yellow, red and green are increased in brightness, so from a distance you'll see a yellow. If the blue is also increased in brightness by the same amount, white will be seen, and as the colours mix to white, this is called additive mixing, as you're adding light. The monitor's primaries are also darker than the printed primaries. If lighter primaries like a cyan, a light emerald green or magenta were used, the resulting colour range would be very washed out. Now, while a printer's gamut can be altered by the media printed on, the diver patterns used and the size of dots, other aspects can affect how colours are seen on a monitor. A monitor's colour space is not stable. Colours can change depending on how long a monitor has been on, although with modern monitors this is not such a problem. But the viewing angle will have a huge effect on the colours seen, as will the ambient light of the room the monitor is actually situated in, and the distance from which the colours are viewed. Also, each person's monitor can be set up differently. Some people like bright monitors, some alter the brightness levels so they are darker, and this will affect how the same colors in the file will look different on different monitors. To get a clear understanding of these differences, we can place the monitors and printers' color spaces against a representation of all the colors that an average human can see. We can then visualize the problem. This is an illustration of what is known as the CIE-LURB color space. It's a mathematical model of the range of colors that an average observer under a particular light source can see. It was developed in 1931 by the International Commission on Illumination. Now, if we plot the color space of an average monitor, you can see it only covers a part of the CIE color space. Certain colors can't be displayed on a monitor. Think of very dull matte colors. Now, if we place the gamut of an average printer onto the CIE color space, again, it only covers a part of the colors you can see. It is also smaller than the average monitor's color space and covers a darker part of the spectrum. This makes sense as monitors create colors using light and printers use ink. And if we place the two on top of each other, you can immediately see the problem. While the monitor can display a lot of the printer's colors, the printer can't print a lot of what the monitor displays can show. And there are certain colors a printer can print that monitors can't display. So how do we solve all these issues? Well, simply put, you can't. You can only do things to help, which I'll cover in the following talk. But by understanding the physical reality of how colors are generated by monitors and printers, I hope you can see why there are, and always will be, problems trying to match colors from monitors, i.e. light additive color spaces mixed optically, to the printers, dark subtractive color spaces mixed optically. So, terms covered in this talk have been RGB CMYK primaries, color gamuts, subtractive mixing, additive mixing, optical mixing, diver patterns, and the CIE LAB color space. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll enjoy my next talk that will be about ways of improving color fidelity professionally and workarounds that can be useful for designers and artists.